CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode. Good morning, Sergeant Acquisition.
Ma'am, you have me at a disadvantage.
That's quite all right. Congratulations on the field promotion.
Thank you. I'm just trying to do my best to make sure the DFS is running smoothly.
That's good to hear. How are you settling into your new role?
It's been an exciting, challenging kind of first week. Lots of responding to issues on the fly, but thankfully I have an excellent team behind me and hope to be serving them as responsibly as I can.
Excellent. My notes indicate that you're an ambitious individual. What goal do you have next?
Your position looks really exciting right about now. Are you ever hiring? I'm really good with people.
I shall keep you in mind should an availability appear. What do you think of Dr. Kane, your squad's representative?
Off the record, she's a bleeding heart, and I think that could be a vulnerability. On the record, she's a fantastic academic, and I look forward to following her research and career.
Now tell me about Logan Suddenly.
All hail Calazar. I'm Mo. Welcome to episode 5 of the Tier 2 R&D Squad, aka the Farm Upstate. I'm here with Atlas.
Hi, I'm Atlas. I use mostly he, him pronouns. I am playing Helter Highwater, who uses he, it pronouns, and also we, but I can't do that because I'm a bad role player. So just imagine for me. Helter is the transformed. And you can find more information about me on my website, atlas.pizza, where you can see a preview of the game that I and Hugh are working on currently.
Hello, I'm Myth, and I use they, them pronouns. I'm playing Verbal Acquisition, who uses he and they pronouns, and Verbal is the bureaucrat. You can find me on the internet at Adjacent Statham, and you can check out my music on Bandcamp. Great-great-great-great-granddads, if you're into mathy art stuff, and Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. If you're into Screamo, you can also check out Reasonable Records for a tape pressing of our demo. They might have all sold out by the time this airs. I don't know.
Hopefully. And Ruby.
Hi there, my name is Ruby Soleil Rain. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing Worm, the proxy, who also uses she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at IronsparkCyrus, Syris, and on co-host at Soleil Rain. And buy the tabletop RPG that I make at gemworks.itch.io. I believe that I've been telling people the wrong URL this entire time. Oh god, hang on. Fuck. It is ironsparkcyrus.itch.io. Syris. Now you can buy my game if you've been wondering. I've been saying GemWorks this entire time, and I didn't realize that's not my URL until, I've been saying that on podcasts for years.
And Valmina.
Hi, I'm Valmina May. My pronouns are they, them, and I play Tansy Rue, who uses she, her pronouns, and she is the ace / a disaster lesbian magical girl in a mech suit. You can find me, Valmina, on Instagram at Delightly, and where I will not be doing makeup influencer videos like the character that I play. So if you were hoping for that, I'm a disappointment. However, you can find out about the organizing work I do for Filipino human rights, and I have a short film coming out that I wrote. It is called Virtual Insanity, so look for that.
And joining us today, our special guest, Anna.
Hi, everyone. My name's Anna. I am the legislator for the Farm Upstate. I'm going to be playing Dr. Clepsydra Kane today. You can find the game that I wrote or find me on co-host at Seaside Sepulchre. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character.
And I'll be Mo, again, your GM, playing everybody else. And if you're curious about anything else I'm doing, you can go to ashyfeet.com and see some of my stuff. When last we left our heroes, somebody had just gotten fired.
And it wasn't any of us.
Yeah, I was like, hang on.
Well, hang on. We haven't played out this scene.
This time, Verbal, are you still measuring the curtains, or have you moved in?
I guess it depends if you want to have Logan in this scene.
Logan will not be in this scene.
Okay,
Logan
then it sounds...
has left the building.
Ah, shit. I had some questions. In that case, I think I've moved in. I think curtains have been measured. You know what? I'm a very no curtains, open door kind of boss. I'm just approachable, fun. You can come to me with any of your problems.
That person. You get a knock at your door.
It's open.
It is Dr. Kane.
Wow. It's an honor. Please come on in. Take a seat.
Yeah, Dr. Kane walks in. For the audience, if you haven't been paying attention to the legislature episodes, Dr. Kane is a tall-ish, white woman who has a black hair that is tied in a bun, wears a lab coat and has a metal prosthetic arm. Her right arm is a robotic prosthetic. And she walks into the room and is looking kind of serious. And is there a chair at Verbal's desk? Okay.
Yeah. I think there's at least two facing, and then Verbal's nice chair.
Yeah,
Is it an actual chair or a power move chair?
It's an actual chair.
Yeah, so she sits down. I don't know if you invite her to sit down, but she definitely does before being invited.
Yeah. I think Verbal comes to the desk. It's the lab coat's a good look. You're gonna fit right in. It's great.
I haven't stopped wearing it. I've been working here for far longer than you have. Which brings me to my point. I wanted to inform you that Logan will not be a member of the Farm Upstate. I've read your petition, and I've weighed the arguments, and I see where you're coming from. I let him go earlier today.
I obviously take zero pleasure, that's a lie, in, seeing a superior, moved aside, but I know that we both agree it's for the best of the squad and for the things we could achieve as the Farm Upstate. You've seen the progress we've made, and that's all without Logan's oversight, let's say.
She gives a smile that is painfully fake. Yes, I'm sure it pains you greatly.
Dr. Kane, while you're here, I've been wanting to talk to you about Worm. I'm just wondering if there's anything more you could be doing, and if there's any kind of incentive I could be offering that would facilitate Worm's freedom from having a sword hanging over her head. It's maybe not encouraging the best performance.
Her eyes narrow. Verbal, I feel like I need to make this explicit. Are you offering me a bribe?
I'm asking if there's anything that you are looking for that could support a colleague of mine who I feel like is being unfairly threatened by the systems that you and I work for.
And she sits up a little bit straighter. It's diplomatically worded. And there's a pause. I'm not sure how much I can do to help you. When I talked to Worm last, I mentioned that it's not my prerogative to decide what projects are continued and what aren't, and that was a true statement.
I understand that, but you, as a legislator, have a certain amount of leverage that those of us, lower down the ladder, unfortunately don't.
Empty laugh. You'd be surprised.
Okay, what would, is there anything that would grant you more leverage? I'm assuming I know that the elevators sort of got you some favors?
Yeah, I feel like that's That's common knowledge at this point. Like, you probably had to ship out boxes of the elevators to different squads.
You know, I know our previous product won you some favors, and I'm wondering if there's similar things that we could provide that would allow you to, I don't want to say buy more votes, that sounds crass, but buy more votes.
The legislature is only about buying votes.
Well, I'm glad that we're both honest about this. I'm asking, what can I do to give you more power in that sense? And if doing that is the way to ensure Worm gets out from under this yoke, it's absolutely worth it.
To be perfectly honest, and she's like fidgeting with her hands as she's like sitting in the chair, I think that this would be any supplies that you can give me to trade around on the floor of the legislature would be useful. But I can't guarantee anything for Worm. And she's getting like a little bit quiet. The best thing that you can do for her is give her the space to show that she's what the DFS needs. And I don't like that answer, but it's the best I've got.
Mechanically speaking, I'm wondering, does Dr. Kane by any chance have a full drive clock at the moment?
She does. I haven't pulled up the legislature sheet in a minute, but I'm pretty certain I have 1.5.
What I'm trying to do is find the fictional thing that I can use to buy that mechanics from you.
Oh, so you want my drive clock then?
I want your drive clock such that I can use it, and fictionally it's essentially Dr. Kane like pulling strings for us.
Yeah, let me open my... Yeah, I have one drive clock.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if there is something that would fictionally you would trade for that mechanical thing.
I think I would be happy to trade it for a thing, but I don't know if there's a material thing that Dr. Kane needs right now. Having the capacity to buy more votes at the legislature is great, but I don't know if that's her biggest concern. So I think, I don't know if this is like information that, Mo, you feel like we should roll to like, for Verbal to acquire. But like, I think what she wants from you is, she does have something that she wants from you to be able to give you that drive clock mechanically.
If it is appropriate, that is something you can use as leverage or as cooperation. I need you to just make sure you're playing your character and you're not compromising who you are just because we're all DFS, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've listened to our previous sessions. I don't know if that's necessarily the tone of our group. If you don't trust Verbal, who has just offered to bribe you, at first glance, then maybe this is for later. If you want to play ball, that is up to your character too.
I think, like, pulling back the curtain, I want to play ball, but it is that I do not trust Verbal. So I wonder, Mo, if, like, now's the time where I can, like, start talking about information I have about a potential mission direction.
Sounds very appropriate. Because that is business.
Exactly. There's another pause from Dr. Kane, and anything that I do to help you here is going to take time. And while I'm not opposed to it, I need to know that the Farm Upstate is in good hands. And frankly, with your history of insubordination and your tried history with Logan, even before your entry onto the Farm Upstate, Verbal, I'm going to need to be convinced.
It's okay. Convincing people is the thing that I'm kind of best at.
Smile.
Verbal. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute myself.
Normally, the way this would have happened previously is that I would have had a sit-down meeting with Logan suddenly, and we would have discussed some intel that we've collected as part of the DFS, and then I would have hashed out some details, and he would have presented you with a mission that you would go on, or not go on, as the case may have been. But now you're in that position, and this is your responsibility to take this intel that I have and formulate it into an actionable mission that will prove useful for the rest of the DFS. And she reaches in her lab coat pocket and pulls out like I've described Dr. Kane before as like having a bunch of like these color projectors. And she pulls one out of like the pocket of her lab coat and puts it on like your desk, and we get like a sort of static image of like surveillance plane footage of the DFS siege line. And she says, DFS intel has it that Calazar has not been a fan of the initial deployment of the Alacritus elevators that your squad, the rest of the Farm Upstate, has been producing. While they've been met with great success in our work, it appears as though that might not be the case for longer. If you want these things, the elevators that you've constructed, to continue to be useful for the military, for the DFS, and for the rest of our organization as bargaining chips and as weapons, we're going to need to make sure that our opponents are not able to develop countermeasures.
I think big smile from Verbal, who was like, before you and I go back and forth on this, let me ask you what you want from this mission.
Oh, how do I answer this question? I think she gives another very empty smile and says, I work to serve the military of the DFS. That's my role here. I want this mission to succeed. I want the weapons that you've constructed to continue to be a useful asset.
Hey, are you lying to me? I have this power, which is that I always know when someone's lying to me, and that felt like the most empty elevator pitch that I've ever fucking heard.
And just to be clear, Anna, he has this power that lets him know when you're lying. This is true.
Oh yeah, I believe it. What I don't think that power gives you, if I'm not mistaken, is that it doesn't necessitate that I tell you the truth.
No.
But, so what you know there is that this is the truth, but it's not the whole truth. I think you're correct to assume.
It's a good answer, Dr. Kane. It's the same one that I would give. I just want you to know, like, and I think Verbal gets up and like closes the door to the office now, and it's like, nothing has to leave this room that you and I discuss.
Another smile. The walls have ears, Verbal.
Like literally one of your compatriots is an AI who is everywhere.
Right?
Hi there. Don't worry, Worm is currently starting a chemical fire in the cafeteria. We're good.
Well, I think if you remember something or you think of something, and I don't know, and like eyes like eyes like a pen and paper. It's like if you want to write something down, that would be like a side mission, additional objectives for the mission, anything like that. That's what Verbal is trying to get from you, is like, what actionable thing can we do to earn your trust in this way?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, because I'm not sure exactly what this thing is.
Suggestions that I'm thinking is like, if it's getting you more things to buy votes with, if it's something to do with your personal research into posthumanism, if it's something to do with like winning hearts and minds of the Jovangelion, like if it's terms of engagement of like supporting them or avoiding hurting one of their squads or something like that.
I think the problem that I'm running into right now is that anything that I can think as a material thing that you could do would necessarily be read as transactional, and I am not certain that a transactional relationship is what Dr. Kane needs to build trust.
Yeah, well, Verbal's out of luck there.
Which I know that it's not like it doesn't give you a very good direction in terms of things to do. I will say that more things to sell, or like trying to build bridges, figuratively or literally, I guess, are things that give me more power in the legislature and will make me more able to lend a hand should I be convinced to do so. If anything comes up, I'll let you know. But in the interim, just remember the overall strategy of the DFS presently and do your best to fulfill it.
So I think Verbal like comes back to the desk and like sits down, and I think slumps ever so slightly, like you see like a little bit of the posture go. They're sort of realizing maybe a little of where their tactics might not meet the, I guess, ethics of Dr. Kane. I think kind of some of that like schmoozy kind of energy is gone, and I think Verbal looks to Dr. Kane and is like, just understand that I'm a person who is used to calculating the cost of doing business, but understand also that I'm not asking for Worm's freedom because I think there's a benefit to it. I'm asking because Worm is my friend, and I genuinely care, and I believe that she deserves better. And maybe mutual back scratching is not what you're looking for, but if not that, then understand there is genuine compassion behind what I am trying to achieve, and I'm sorry if I have misread the amount of pressure that I can put on you, or have misunderstood the amount of leeway that you have to get Worm out from under the situation that she's in.
Can we make a roll? I feel like that was just a consort. Anna, do you feel comfortable abiding by a roll, or would you rather role play this out?
No, I'm totally abiding by okay.
As opposed to
rolling.
how you receive this.
I mean, right now,
Or do you have? If you have something to play, I'm gonna say play it.
Now we can roll. I'm totally okay with the roll.
Okay.
You cool rolling, Verbal?
Okay. Yeah, I'm down. What's my position?
You are standard risky, because you've come at this hard, and now you're pivoting.
Yeah. Now you play the vulnerability. This is part of the game.
I listen, and it, to me, this really feels like a move.
Okay.
Now that's how to play tabletop, baby.
So
risky,
if you're comfortable,
standard.
let's let the dice say how effective this is.
Okay, I'm gonna push myself as well. Doing that kind of level of vulnerability, I think, is takes a little bit of a toll. Okay, so that's 2 additional stress, and then a solid 4 dice.
Verbal is really good at one thing.
Yeah, it's only a 5 though.
And so on a 5, you could take that how you like, Anna. Obviously, he's telling the truth, but
yeah,
I don't know what the but is. I have some in mind, but you let me know if you got something.
I'm not sure. I don't think that I don't know if I have a very good but in mind. As a like, there's a 5, so there's a risky consequence. So I'd be happy to follow your lead on that. In terms of like my own response, I suspect that this was convincing for Dr. Kane. But I don't know if this is enough to get her to 100% trust Verbal right away.
That's exactly where I was going. And you don't trust Verbal.
That reads to me like a clock.
He's telling you the truth, but this man is not to be trusted. That doesn't mean you can't trust him. That doesn't mean you can't use him. You saw how quickly he went from one method of persuasion to another, and he's very good. Does that sound fair, Verbal?
Yeah, sure. Is it too weird to do starting a long-term project of gaining Dr. Kane's trust?
I am reluctant to do a
fair.
project against a player where you're going to make the player play different.
I wouldn't mind it though.
Okay.
I feel like that's functionally what I'm doing right now is playing an NPC, and in playing an NPC, this is how you would interact with them.
Exactly. Okay.
And like this is like I don't have, if I had like my own consort stat, it would be different, I think, maybe, but I don't, because I'm a legislator. So in that way, I think a long-term project is exactly the right thing.
Cool. Let's do it. I think we got a 6-tick clock, and if you're happy, I'm gonna say you have 2 ticks. Let's say the takeaway is not. This guy, you don't know if you could trust him, but it's clear he cares about the team.
Is my takeaway, I don't mean to, like, was that tactic more effective? Because I think that is genuinely Verbal. Like, that was not Verbal, like, trying to create a lie that was more convincing. That was Verbal, like, actually being verbal and not like commanding officer schmoozing verbal. So I'm wondering if my takeaway is like genuine human connection is more valuable
It is,
to
though.
Dr. Kane. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's communicated to verbal because, like, she gives, like, the first genuine smile you've seen from her. And it's like, that may have been the best thing you could have said right now. Pulling strings is going to take time. Do this mission. Do it well. We'll talk again after.
I think Stan's like offers a hand. If it's a handshake, yeah, it's like, well, Dr. Kane, I really appreciate you coming to visit. It's really nice to finally meet you, having read your name, reports and papers and such and such.
I hope our career is more amicable than that with your previous superior.
Tansy, what are you doing today when you get the call that it's time to have a mission brief?
So what is Tansy doing today besides using grenades to help Worm put out a chemical fire in the kitchens, you mean? Yeah, I think let's say that's what's happening actually. Just mid grenade launch.
I should explain. I said in chat, in the just text chat, that I liked the image of this tense conversation of Worm, and it cuts, and like in the distance, she's tried to overclock the coffee machine and somehow started a chemical fire. Just like the stupidest possible thing she could be doing at the time.
Should I roll something for this?
Let's not. I want to make sure we actually get an adventure in today. Helter, what are you doing when the call comes in to meet for a mission brief?
You said okay. There aren't curtains. Can Helter be like looking through the window to like this conversation with like binoculars or something?
Are you cool with that, Hugh?
You don't have eyes.
You're
Hang
right.
on
I
a
don't
sec.
have eyes. I can't do that. That makes sense. Wait, I have binoculars, but
Helter can see.
Not having eyes does not stop you from comedically holding up binoculars.
I have binoculars, but I'm just like standing nearby, observing with like whatever senses Helter has now.
Are you cool with that, Hugh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, did you get all of that conversation, or just half, Helter?
Just half, I think.
Okay. So, I'm going to say, in particular, you heard Verbal's plea that to help Worm.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
And in particular, that part stood out to you.
Yeah, I think in the like movie version of this, well, like that tense conversation is happening, and it's like cutting to the fire in the other room. It's also like cutting to like Helter like walking down the hall, and then like walking past and like looking at the fire, and then like walking past and seeing the window where like I probably see like Verbal like close the door, right, when like Verbal got up to close the door, and it's like, ooh, that's got to be interesting.
Okay, so let's say you started listening then. The fire is put out. So you guys come into Verbal's office. And Dr. Kane is there
Do we know Dr. Kane?
with Verbal.
I sure do.
Worm knows Dr. Kane.
Oh yeah, Helter doesn't know who Dr. Kane is.
I want to say Helter probably knows because Helter's been with the squad for a while, and Tansy may not.
No, Tansy has no idea who this is.
The better question is,
No,
does
Helter doesn't care enough to know.
That's
That's the thing.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is. All right. So you guys come in, and Dr. Kane is present.
I think she honestly walks over to Tansy and offers to shake her hand. Tansy Roots, I've heard so much about your exploits. It's a pleasure to meet you in person.
Tansy just kind of looks at her sideways and shakes her hand, but doesn't say anything. She doesn't know how to take that. She's very suspicious feeling today. And also, her hair is naturally black, as is her beard. Her hair has one pink streak in it today.
I think from across the room, Verbal's like, you should see the things Tansy can do in an Avi, Dr. Kane. It's breathtaking. I've never seen anything like it.
Tansy just kind of looks at her feet.
Who's going to start? I think Dr. Kane has given you the floor, Verbal.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming in. I know it's a little weird that now I know about some of these things before y'all do, but I hope that we can keep, our effectiveness as a squad running, even glares at Worm.
I'm paying attention.
Okay, I will skip the pitch. The DFS is sending us in to the siege line. It seems like CalazCon might be trying to create some countermeasures to Helter's incredible grenades. So we're going to go in, we're going to see what they're up to. I'm assuming we're shutting down any factories, manufacturing equipment, and making sure that countermeasures cannot be deployed to keep ensuring the military superiority of the DFS. Questions?
Sabotage. This is what I do best.
Yes, Dr. Kane actually very kindly was able to secure us a mission that she felt really played to our strengths, and so we're very grateful to her as well.
She, like, gives a nod of acknowledgement here.
Tansy is just kind of like watching Verbal to see if she can tell like what he actually thinks about the mission. I don't know if she's going to be successful at it, but that's what she's doing.
Did you want to make a roll of some sort?
What do we got here?
Study.
Study? Yeah.
You know what? You have one in survey. I'll give you survey.
I do. Oh, yeah. Okay.
You spot trouble before it happens.
This is controlled and standard.
Controlled standard, sure.
1 die.
It's not clear who's in charge here to you. Does anyone have questions? And Anna, let me know if you want me to stand in for more details on the mission.
Yeah, like, I only have the details that you gave me, Mo.
That's what I said.
So, yeah. If you want, you can say the thing and then I can repeat it back in character, but I don't know if that's a little bit too silly.
Yeah, so in short, the science is CalazCon has been severely affected by the grenades, and they have started working on countermeasures, and there is a chemical in this region that they suspect will be able to proof their mechs and other things against the grenades.
So we're trying to stop the production of that.
Stop the production, also stop them from picking up this chemical.
Oh, cutting off the supply. Okay.
So, are we looking at like a manufacturing facility?
It's a ruined manufacturing facility. It was a manufacturing facility before the siege line became a siege line. But now it's a great place to go shopping if you want random chemicals and things that have been picked over many times before.
Can we see the map?
Blam, there's a map. The big thing about the DFS siege line is it is the area where the Jovangelians and the DFS had cannons pointed at each other and were limited to fighting the battle on foot. It is a no-fly zone, and the biggest geographic feature is a river of sludge that goes through. During the war, before the con came, the biggest issue was between the ceasefires keeping bridges active to cross. The Jovangelians have fallen back. They're not doing well in the war now because CalazCon has really distracted their forces and depleted their forces. But the Khan has taken up the Jovangelian gun line. And so now it's the DFS versus Khan fans who have a good time shooting anything that flies out of the sky at the DFS siege line. Now there are lots of makeshift bridges crossing the river of sludge and many food trucks. And there is a very strange ceasefire because the congoers really aren't about that life. They just really like using the guns. And so it's not a war per se. They just have fun shooting anything that flies out of the sky.
Want to go down to the food trucks by the sludge river and shoot Avies? Like, what?
Now that's a convention.
Okay.
God, I hate these people.
I was struggling to plan the next date with Helter, but I think you've just sold me on that one.
And
So, like,
you're welcome.
Just so that I'm on the same page here, this is what we're looking at is not an active manufacturing facility. This is an inactive manufacturing facility that happens to have a chemical compound that they need to counteract our thing, and our job is to stop them from getting it. Shoot,
like
there goes my plan.
It's a black market. Like, is it on the other side of the siege line or something? Is that?
It's on the siege line, and all of the siege
Okay.
line was no man's land, but now it's pretty much no man's land and anything flying.
Okay. So it's really like
It's a market.
You know, people go down, they take pictures next to like stuff that looks really destroyed with real and fake guns.
What district? Like, did this used to be like a manufacturing district, basically?
There
in
was
Hestial?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like we're looking at like ruined manufacturing facilities type of thing. Yeah, maybe like warehouses, probably too, in the area. And I'm just trying to like mentally imagine what this landscape would be like. So it's pretty much like open, but then there's like ruined portions of buildings to kind of navigate, as well as these like makeshift bridges. Okay.
Okay, I think I got a good image. Shoot, there goes my plan. I was excited. I was like, oh, I have a cool idea. Never mind. All right, cool.
I think we're going to move into the get ready to leave part of the session. Let's everybody give Dr. Kane a round of applause.
Thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Kane.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Dr.
Anna.
Kane.
It's always lovely to have you on.
Thank you,
Good luck
Anna.
on your mission.
Less death threats this time.
Yeah, 100%.
Significantly less.
100%. I'm not actually sure how many fewer death threats there were.
Wow.
Time will tell.
Nice. Thank you, Anna.
All right, see y'all.
Well, first of all, what's our approach method? How are we going to do this? What kind of mission is this?
So we need to like find the chemicals.
You have intel telling you exactly where it's at.
Oh, okay.
Does that mean that this is an infiltrate mission and we don't use our obvies? Tansy is angry.
You're gonna tell me what kind of mission it is.
Because yeah, I definitely don't want to do infiltrate because of Tansy. I definitely think
It'll
having
be
some
fun.
guns.
Honestly, I think it'll be fun. We have other kinds of guns. It's just she just won't be piloting the mech. She won't be button mashing. I kind of think it'd be Helter is like
This is the kind of shit that Helter is made for. Like
opportunity.
Helter can go in, be normal, and then
Yeah.
suddenly we have a mech that we didn't
Yeah.
have, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Okay, and we definitely should bring the truck.
I did have a thought about just like the idea of like what we're gonna do with the mission in general, which is like the Goonades come from Helter, like from the cannon that Helter like melded with at one point, right? That's where the original came from. So what if we just go there and then Helter can just like incorporate this new chemical into like the mix, right? Like if it's
Yeah.
And then
like
we
inoculation or something.
And then we can upsell for 2.0.
2.0.
Or
There's-
what
okay,
if,
this
thinking like thinking like verbal, what if we just acquire the chemicals and sell them to people who want to protect themselves against the Goonades?
Ooh.
Oh my god, we could double dip.
You're gonna sell
We
protection.
bring the chemical back first and learn how to make more of it, right? That's
This is a very slight tangent, but I promise it's relevant. I've spent a lot of time doing modding for the game Rivals of Aether, and there was a time where like overpowered meme characters were like a really big thing, and it was like the most popular thing. And my friend got so pissed at it, he made a character that would instantly kill any meme character by detecting their like unique character IDs and destroying them instantly. But there was someone who figured out a trick to get around this, and we could never figure out how to break it. So instead, we had someone go into their Discord and say, yeah, we figured out how to break it, and they just removed the code, even though we never figured out how to break it. I'm just saying, we can just tell the DFS that we cracked it, and then tell this shit off the other end.
Yeah, exactly. Because there wouldn't be it wouldn't exist over there anymore.
How many witnesses are there? That's always the question. So, what kind of mission is this?
This seems like infiltrate, right?
It seems like whatever we're doing is probably infiltrate. Is it called infiltrate?
It's stealth.
It's stealth? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Social could be
Social could also be.
negotiate, bargain, and persuade.
I guess that depends if are there currently like there's not someone who's currently in charge of that chemical. It's just sort of there.
Correct. Like, at this point, it's a race to see who gets to it first.
We could do a transport mission and be like, we already have the thing and the mission is getting out of there.
I do kind of fuck with that.
I also want to pitch the idea I've had of, like, is there anything we can do to fuck up the CalazCon siege line? Like, if we could goo their cannons, if we're trying to secure the borders, like eliminating their...
The challenge with that is that I'm going to call that a 4-tick long-term project because of the scale of distance that needs to be traversed. Does that make sense? And actually, I'm going to call it a 6-tick. There are a lot of cannons. And for the record...
But that's a clock we can work on in mission.
That is a clock you can work on in mission, if
it's
you
fine.
so
6
choose.
ticks, whatever.
6 ticks, easy.
6 ticks, easy.
Also, another option, if stepping back for a second to like, what are we gonna do with this stuff? We could take the stuff, fix the grenades, and then still sell it to the other side.
You absolutely
because they don't know we
can.
fixed them.
Sell it and then have a grenade that ignores that chemical.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on who we want to double cross, I guess.
So we're selling a quote-unquote fix to our own weapon, and it doesn't actually.
Google Kaspersky antivirus. Are we going to stealth or are we going to transport?
Let me just look at my abilities real quick.
In an empty factory, none of my abilities are going to be too particularly helpful. As I presume it is not active anymore.
We have 1 dot of prowl between us.
Yeah.
Maybe transport it is.
We're not a subtle team. We could just go assault, and we could just, if it's a race to get there first, it's like, fine, you kill your fucking opponent in the race, and then you win the race.
Yeah, then you can take as long as you want.
You take as long as you
Yeah, we can guns blazing this shit.
That's the like tortoise and the hare thing, right? That's what they did in that one.
That's what they did, yeah. The tortoise murders the hare.
Takes a nap.
The tortoise waits and loads his gun.
And that's capitalism, folks.
The CalazCon people only shoot things out of the air.
The targeting really only works with things in the air. They could shoot at things on the ground, but because of the buildings and
We can't fly to begin with.
a couple of you fly.
I think one of us kind of flies sometimes, but like that's a sometimes thing. Like,
So I'm hearing assault.
I was kind of feeling the infiltrate, but I'll hear what everybody wants to do. Or the stealth, I'm sorry, not infiltrate.
Because here's the thing. I think infiltrate sounds more fun, but to be blunt, we are god-awful at it.
Yeah, that is true. The only thing I really have is, especially like if I'm not taking my AV, is the Red Comet ability that I got when I leveled up last time. So it like I get an extra dice when I'm trying to impress someone. So, that could come in handy. I can also stun people by revealing myself via dramatic action, which I feel like would also happen.
okay, I have a pitch. What if we did like I don't know which one this would be, but what if we did like another diversion mission where like some of us were like fighting some of us is doing the race and fighting while others of us go sneak and just take the stuff.
Yeah.
Deception?
That sounds like deception.
Okay.
That worked out last time.
It's kind of our thing.
Could the deception be destroying the cannons?
Oh, that's actually not bad.
That's kind of banger, actually.
We take on their siege line cannons, and whilst they're busy trying to figure that out, half the team or a quarter of the team or whoever like goes in and takes the chemical. Takes control of the chemical.
So I do get to keep my AV.
I'm just going to give you another piece of challenge to that. You're going to have to be in touch with the DFS side to let them know not to shoot you out of the sky, too.
No one's going to be flying, right? Are we going to be flying?
Unless Helter
I
has
mean, my
plans.
AV can fly too.
I could declare an ally who's like a cannoneer.
You absolutely can. That's what you do.
That's what I do. That's really...
And sometimes they become
Verbal thing.
rivals.
It's like, I know a guy. Don't worry about it.
And sometimes you have to shoot him with a shotgun out of your truck. So it sounds like we're decepting. Are we going to do any prep?
I can call a cannoneer if we need to like have a window of like do not fire during this time, because that's us. If we need a flying getaway, but if we don't feel like we're going to be flying, is Tansy the only one of us who can fly?
I think Worm flies too, don't you, Worm?
I don't know if the Interalia can
I don't think Helter can fly either.
I mean, I can fly by virtue of, like, going through Wi-Fi, but, like, that's not the same.
Is there anything you want to do to affect this engagement roll?
I think the element of surprise might be part of it, just, like, having them have to rally the guns.
And, like, panic a little, maybe.
Too much chaos. Yeah, okay.
Or, even best case scenario, have to, like, retreat the people they had sent out to get the chemicals so that they can help fight us off from the cannons.
Can I call up someone I already know instead of declaring an ally? Could I phone... because these guns used to be Jovangelion, right? So could I phone up Rainy Day and be like, okay, what is, like... How many people, like, are, like, manning that gun? Like, what kind of resistance will we expect?
Okay, we'll make that call, and we'll make a roll during that call to determine if we're going to get a plus or is this a factor affecting the mission. Worm, are you doing anything to affect the engagement roll?
Yeah, I had an idea, but it may be a little bit redundant with what Verbal just said. I was going to see...
You'll get another +1 to your engagement roll die, even if it's redundant.
If that's the case, that's better. I was going to say, we have that antenna full of all the data of CalazCon shit. I was thinking maybe I could troll through that to see if there's anything on the cannons, and like, or if there's like a firmware backup or something that I can exploit, that I can look for vulnerabilities in.
Oh, you know what would be sick also is to just like overload sensors by like bombing, like info bombing them with data from the antenna. So just like their
that's also a good idea.
Aiming systems are just like completely overwhelmed.
Or overload their comms so they can't communicate with each other.
That's also good. I was thinking, you guys ever heard of the Stuxnet virus?
No.
That's a beautiful virus.
It's a good I mean, it's not.
You give somebody a USB stick, they look to see if there's anything on it, they don't see anything, and so they put a file on it and they pass it to their friend. Every computer that it touches, it infects. And then one day you can activate them all.
No, so that's a botnet. Stuxnet is a really... okay, so I'm gonna try to keep this brief. It's the most I relate to Hideo Kojima because it's cosmically horrifying from a political stance, but as a technological thing, it's kind of rad. The entire idea is that Stuxnet was a virus manufactured by the US government in order to destabilize the nuclear program of Iran, where it would specifically hook on to the specific type of hardware they were using for uranium manufacturing, and then secretly cause their centrifuges to run like just a little bit too fast, and then modify the data it was reporting back so that the technicians would never know. So the idea was that this virus would secretly fry their hardware over time, and no one would ever notice.
Can we make it work on a 3-minute version?
Absolutely.
Can I Stuxnet these cannons?
What's it called? You know when, like, this must be a real thing, when things, like, backfire in the way, like, the idea that we prime all the guns to backfire and then Tansy flies over, they all aim at Tansy, doing maximum distraction and blow themselves up is, like, so fucking fun.
That's the best shit.
So we're going to make that roll. Tansy, you have a thing you're going to do in battle. Do you have something you want to do to prepare for the mission?
I don't know what would help that I could do. No, I got nothing.
Okay.
Sorry.
And Helter, is there something you want to do to prepare for the mission?
I have a joke thing. Helter's like working on something in the like lab and like, I don't know, like welding or something, like something that seems like that, and then like stops and like lifts it up and it's a swimsuit. That river of sludge looks great.
Oh my god, okay. Helter.
Do you want to make a roll on that river of sludge to use it as an asset during this mission? Like, do you want to do some kind of intel gathering?
I was going to say, if we need an entry point for someone to get into the chem lab, who would expect them to be going under the river of sludge?
Send in the chemical person.
Yeah, that was my plan. It's just, I don't know that I need to do it for, I don't know that, like, pre-doing it. I think that feels like the mission, right? Like, doing it before the mission, right?
Is that the escape plan or the entry plan?
I mean, it could be. I think the entry plan. I think it's probably the entry plan. And maybe also the escape plan, depending on how things go. The secondary escape plan is turn into giant monster, so...
Let's go ahead
Plan the first half, play the second half.
and make some roll. Verbal, you're calling rainy day. Let's go ahead and make a consort roll to see if you can get intel on these guns. We're going to call this controlled standard.
Only a 4.
Only a 4,
It's not my
okay.
day. I got shook up by meeting Dr. Kane. I think it's the truth of Verbal's day.
So, to be clear, rainy day doesn't have much intel on those guns. Rainy day can tell you about all kind of other parts of the city. You have a mixed success. Rainy day is going to tell you that those guns, no access to the sewers.
So we can't get to them from the sewers, from underneath.
There may be 2 or 3 people in there. The other thing he's going to tell you is it's been a couple months since that's been under their side's control, and he has like no idea what they're doing in there. You get some external support, so you're taking a +1. Atlas, we're researching the river.
I don't know that that's, like, pre-game stuff. I think that's, like, going into the river is, like, probably the mission for Helter.
And I'm trying to get to pregame stuff, unless you don't want to do a pregame thing.
I mean, I don't have an idea for a pre-game thing other than just, like, oh, research the river, and I don't know that that's actually interesting.
I think it's awesome, personally. But you can roll now, or you can not roll now. It's okay.
That river is also like dripping into our sewers HQ as well.
Oh, right, it's that
So, like,
river.
we do have...
Okay.
It's that river, right? So we do have access without having to leave the lab.
So you
Great
have
river, big fan
you
of
have
it.
1 in study to get a better understanding of it. Yeah, don't
yeah,
push
I'll
your
just roll
spark
a
yet.
die.
We're gonna say that this river is not going to hurt you the way it would destroy any mech, but it will destroy any mech that is in there with you.
Okay. that sounds great.
So I'm gonna say something silly like Helter has a way in and out. And that is the plus and minus of it. You get another +1. And then Ruby, you were gonna look in the antenna.
Wait, I have an image for what that looks like. This is just the part of the thing that is like that. It's like Helter like looking up at like one of the corners of the lab that's like leaking while wearing like the bathing suit and like goggles. That's just like the image for that action.
And you're putting your transformed finger in it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I just get the image of Helter like the like finger covered in the goo and Helter like close up on Helter's eyes as the finger moves slowly towards Helter's mouth.
Yeah.
Just, like, tongue out like
Exactly the energy I'm going for.
Could use some salt.
Worm, you were gonna look in the antenna to figure out what's going on.
Yes, I was. This looks like a fucking cyber chase ass, like flying through a bunch of files. And yeah, is that a study, I believe? then?
Study or survey, your choice.
Doesn't matter, I have the same stat in each. I'm gonna go study. I feel bad for rolling interface on everything, to be fully honest.
listen.
I'm okay with interface in this point.
If GM
GM
says, hell
says.
yeah. That's a 2d6.
2d6.
Is that a
Controlled standard.
What's the position in fact?
Controlled standard.
And that is 2 dice. That's a 4.
So the downside is this is actually not being run by the CalazCon. This is a couple of people who've taken advantage of the fact that the guns are here, and they're charging people to shoot at stuff in the siege line.
God, it's a booth.
And it's not even a booth. It's a non-sanctioned booth.
Oh.
What you know is that there are lines of people waiting to get their turn, and they get 2-hour shifts to shoot at whatever they want in the siege line. On the upside, you get that there are 6 guns.
Well, we have that. Shit.
Is there any way we can get someone to be in one of us to be in one of those lines to like be in the cannon at the time when this is happening?
You absolutely
you can,
can.
Like, quietly plug me in a USB port on the cannon or some shit.
You have a couple people who could be in line, who are not going to be swimming upriver, who are not going to be driving a truck if a truck needs to be driven. So, All kind of stuff can happen. Let's go ahead. Is the mission bold? We're going to take 1, so we're up to 3 dice. We target's vulnerabilities. No dice for that. We're 3. We're going to have a total of 3. Because we have other things benefiting the squad. We have other things against the squad. So we have a total of 3 dice.
3 dice. A 6.
6.
Let's fucking go!
All right.
Mediocre research, banger
Nice.
results.
That's Farm Upstate slogan.
That's the Farm Upstate.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited by ScienceBird. You can find them on Twitter as @Vetero. That's VETARO. Sound balancing for this episode was done by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at CVBlight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.